unions have always supported tariffs and protectionist kind of policies generally, but Trump's language about this, like you've noted, is over the top and what you call BSing.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I am Dale Jackson. Thank you very much for joining us. We're going to check in for the first time this year with Jacob Morrison. He is with the Valley Labor Report. You can hear him right here on WVNN from 9:30 to 11 on Saturday. He is probably in morning of January 6, 2025. It's just the end of days, obviously, where we're going to have, especially for labor individuals, people who are labor focused like Jacob is, and his show is, I mean, the transition from Joe Biden, who is essentially carrying forward with a lot of Trump's labor policies and economic policies from his first administration, to the tariffs and stopping U.S. steel and all that stuff, to Donald Trump, where there will be tariffs and stopping U.S. steel. We've talked about this a lot, and then labor supported Donald Trump, how it maybe increased or maybe not, depending on how you're looking at it and how you're defining labor. Here's the reality, though, Jacob. The U.S. steel, the sales stoppage was supported by Trump. It was supported by Biden. It was supported by Kamala Harris, or whoever was telling Kamala Harris what to do. All those individuals supported it. So why did it take so long to tap the brakes on the U.S. steel sale? Why do you think that is, Jacob?
I don't know about. Well, I think that. That it just kind of like worked its way through, and then like at the point where, you know, the president could jump in and say no, then he did. I mean, Biden, like you said, Biden was the whole time saying like, I don't think I'm for this. I don't think I'm for this. And then, you know, I'm sure there's some sort of process that can play out. And, you know, U.S. Steel and Nippon had the opportunity to make their case. And, you know, they convinced some people, including the local union, but the international union was not, did not get on board with it. Neither did local or state officials, and neither did Biden or Harris or Trump. And so they stopped the deal. I think ultimately it was the right decision. But I do think that I do hope that Trump listens to the. When he comes into office, I hope he listens to the local union, because, you know, the reason that they supported the deal, which I wouldn't have. I think what Biden did was the right thing to do. But, you know, they are concerned about the state of the company if it's not purchased. And they said that, you know, they felt like Nippon made commitments to invest that U.S. Steel has not made. And so, you know, I hope that Trump takes a look at that and says, you know, U.S. Steel needs to not only, you know, it's not good enough that we have domestic ownership. The domestic ownership needs to invest in, American work.
Okay, so hold on. So let's back up here for a second.
Say something like that.
Okay, so here's part of the deal here. There's the national security concern that I think a lot of people raise, and I think that's probably a legitimate issue. But, you know, it's interesting. The 10-year guarantee for no layoffs. I thought that was interesting, because you would think that the labor perspective of this, that would play a huge role in the supporting of something like this, a 10-year guarantee for no layoffs. We could get into the electric arc reactors and all that other nonsense that a lot of people are not going to understand, because I don't understand it. You get into all the investment side of it. It sounds like the Japanese company was really trying to get the labor folks on board, and they weren't able to do so. I mean, locally, yes, but just on a broader sense, it definitely seemed like there was just not the support there for it, which made it an easy thing for both the president and incoming president, and even the other campaign of Kamala Harris, to say, no, we don't want to do this. I mean, it made it easier to do as the broader labor movement was saying, hey, this is a bad idea. And national security folks were also saying this is a bad idea. So it seemed like an easy thing to spike. Does it get revisited, or is that the end?
I think it's the end. And I think that one of the reasons why it was difficult to get labor on board is that they don't have a track record of doing what they said they were going to do. Like in the past, when this company has taken over other companies, they behaved in a very similar way to, frankly, the way that American companies do when they take over other companies. They, they do lots of, frankly, kind of a lot of the same stuff that Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy are some of the similar noises that they're making. They're like, they have cut employees, they have not invested, they have closed plants, and increased profits for shareholders and stuff like that. Kind of behaved like a private equity company in America. And so the unions, I think, and the politicians saw their track record, and they saw some of these promises, which I also think were not super well defined in a lot of cases, and said, I don't believe you, frankly. I don't believe that you're going to do that.
Hey, 5 seconds. Just wanted to say that this is only possible because of our donors. If you want to see more of this, then consider donating yourself at tvlr.fm/donate.
And then also, 10 years, in one sense, it's a long time, but also, 10 years can come and go pretty quickly.
Well, that's true, but here's your other guarantee: 0 years.
Yeah, right.
Okay, right. That's the current situation they're looking at, depending on how whoever purchases them decides to go next. All right, moving past that here for a second. Trump's tariffs, their protectionism. This is protectionism. Unions love protectionism. Not all of a sudden, they always have, because it's good for them. Is Trump going to continue his protectionist bent, moving the Republican Party that way? And is that something unions will support?
Union, like you said, unions have always supported tariffs and protectionist kind of policies generally. But there is, some of Trump's language about this, like you've noted, it is over the top and what you call BSing. And so, it remains to be seen. If he does, kind of smart, targeted things, then I'm sure that labor will support it, as labor ended up getting on board with the USMCA. But if we see kind of these broad-based, 20, 50, 100% tariffs across the board, then labor will oppose it because, workers are also consumers, and something like that would be detrimental to, to us as we're going to the grocery store. And so we just have to kind of see what the policy actually ends up being.
Interesting. I find it just kind of interesting to also look at another small labor conversation we don't really have a lot of time to get into, but I would like to get into it. You're seeing a lot of the unions in New York City. Have you seen this? They're getting upset that now they're having to pay the $9 cost to go into the city of New York, and they're sort of fighting it from a labor perspective. The FDNY union, the NYPD union, the city employees that are in unions, they're using the union to kind of battle the congestion fees in New York City. Now, this has got national attention because these are insane. I remember being up there going to cross a bridge in New York not too long ago. The fee was like $27 to cross a bridge. I was like, holy cow. But so they have all of this. Can the unions work to get like some sort of special concession on that? What they pick up $18 a day in order to cover their costs back and forth across the bridge?
They already have. That's kind of the frustrating thing about this. I think that, just looking at it, it seems like it's an obviously good policy. And it's frustrating seeing some unions, but it's the cops are one of them that are kind of leading the way on it, on attacking this. But they already have, is the thing. People who make under $60,000 a day who have to regularly go into the city can get dispensation. They don't have to pay it. And I think that like city employees, there are some carve outs. I think I'm not sure. I know about the 60,000, but I think for city employees there are some carve outs. But the general gist of it is that New York City has a lot of congestion. There are a lot of cars, and you want to bring that down, and you also want to bring in revenue to increase investment into public transit, which is the way that the vast majority of New Yorkers
Put more people on the trains.
throughout
That sounds
the
like a
city.
lot of fun.
Well, I mean, the trains are faster and safer than cars, and so
I mean, as long as you're not being burned alive or pushed in front of cars and stuff, yeah. That's fine.
Yes, literally, you are significant. Like, you are 1,000% less likely to be killed on the subway than you are in a car in New York
Listen,
City.
having a car accident, I agree with what you're saying here. I technically,
Well,
you are
okay,
correct.
so it's
Hold
true.
on.
Subways are
but,
safer.
but the subways are not safe. There's a whole bunch of stuff that goes on down there, and the whole they've got some issues that they're dealing with, and they've got to get that cleaned up. And maybe more money will solve said problems. Have you seen how the New Yorkers are getting around this? I just thought this was an interesting story. They found one car already has like a James Bond style plate flipper. As it goes through the things, like the plate flips around. So
yeah, I've seen some stuff like that, but it's also worth noting that, like, even for people who do have to get into the city, this has cut commute times like in half or more, right? So you're seeing significantly increased money for investment into the subway system, which is important. Subway system is the way that the majority of New Yorkers get around, and you know, the investment is needed. It's cut commute times for people that do actually need to get into the city, and so, you know, I think that all around it's a good policy, and
man, I love it. I love that you love this. Maybe we'll get more of it. Maybe we'll get some tolls on 565 for you. Take care of those things. Cut down on that congestion there, and help invest in public transit so we can have some more places for homeless people to sleep downtown. It'll be delightful. Absolutely delightful stuff. Jacob Morrison, thank you very much.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.